Yo, what's up everybody? My name's Aidan and I trade US small cap stocks. So in this video today, I would like to share with you my journey over the past 5 years trading stocks, the 4 different teachers I've had, the big wins, the big losses, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. I'd also like to share with you how I got started in trading stocks, how did I discover it, and where I currently am now on my trading journey. Let's jump straight into it. So I actually discovered trading whilst I was traveling Thailand. I think on this particular occasion, I was in Thailand for, I think, 3 months. And I was always interested to know how other people managed to travel for such long periods of time. What I tended to do was come back to the UK, work for a bit, save up, and then go away. But yeah, I was interested because there was a lot of people living there for years, and I was always curious how they managed to do that. And one day when I was at home lying on my bed watching some YouTube, an advert or a video popped up of Stephen Ducks. It was a video, and I just randomly clicked on it. I had no interest whatsoever in trading, but the sort of clickbait title just drew me in, I guess. And I began watching it, and instantly I was in. I was hooked. I never questioned that this was a scam or it wasn't real. It always seemed obvious to me that there was money in trading stocks. So what I did, I looked for where Dux learnt, and he learnt from Tim Sykes, and that to me seemed like the obvious place to go. And also Sykes's marketing is pretty full on. So once I began clicking on a few videos, it was in my face quite a lot, I guess. That first year with Tim Sykes, or that first year in learning to trade in general, was completely and utterly overwhelming. I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what I was really looking at. I didn't understand how the markets works. I didn't understand any patterns. I was just looking and trying to make sense of what it was that I was seeing. But that pretty much is my full first year. It was looking at the screen, not understanding what I'm looking at, but trying to figure it out. So in terms of capital, I started with, I think, around $200. Now, at the time, I wanted to get around PDT. So what I did was I opened an offshore account with, I think it was called Shore Trader. They no longer exist. They were so sketchy. I think they just got shut down for being too sketchy. But I kind of knew the risks when I was signing up to them, and I signed up to them with a small amount. Not only because I couldn't really afford to go that much bigger, but also because I was willing to lose it if something went wrong with the brokerage. So that account managed to last me, I'd say, about 6 months or something like that, until they got shut down, and then I bit the bullet and opened an E-Trade account. So the E-Trade account I started it with $2,000. And in my second year of trading, to be honest, I still was looking at the screen, not understanding a clue. I couldn't really make rhyme or reason of anything. However, towards the end of 2020, the stock market got really hot. And I was still with Tim Sykes at the time, and his sort of favorite setup is dip buying panics on OTC multi-day runners. And this particular setup that I learned from him, it's probably the best thing that I learned from him. It seemed to make a lot of sense to me. It was something I could recognize quite easily. And like I say, towards the end of 2020, when the market got really hot, this pattern was happening quite frequently. And as I was witnessing it day in, day out, I began to recognize it and feel as though this is something I can benefit from. I was still sort of playing small size and being tentative, but my confidence was growing. And so when the stock market during this time had its second wave, I think this was the start of 2021, but still my second year of trading, I decided that this was the time I wanted to be more aggressive with my position sizing. And so I added, I think, 30,000 US dollars, I think roughly, to my account. Maybe even, 30,000, I think it was. Now, this was a really scary time for me because I still was super scared. I'm still scared of the stock market today, but I was even more scared of it then. And I was aware that I was still sort of at the beginning of my journey and that these stocks I was trading were quite dangerous. However, like I say, I recognized that this was the time to be more aggressive, and I knew that I understood, in theory at least, one pattern, which was dip buying OTC panics. Now, one of the reasons why I added that 30K to my account was to get over PDT, because I wanted to be able to take more trades during this time. But in addition to that, I opened a shorting broker with Trade Zero, and I opened that with $1,400. So during this start of 2021, I started to make some quite serious money. I was making thousands of dollars every day. And I think over sort of like a 3, 4, 5 month period, I ended up making $180,000, which was absolutely insane. It was really exciting time, actually. I'd been to and fro from Thailand. I was still doing this Thailand thing, and my house in the UK was rented out. And so when I would come back to the UK, I would stay at my mum's until I went away again. And at that period in time, my sister was also living there, and my mum and her partner. And I got to share this amazing experience of making thousands of dollars with them. Otherwise, I would have been at home by my own, like needing or wanting to express this joy to somebody. But yeah, I managed to share that with them, which was really great. I'd sort of be locked away in the office all day. I'd come downstairs and they'd be like, "How much you made?" I'd be like, "Oh, I've made 2,000, or I've made 7,000. It was just a really nice place to be during this period of time. So yeah, my year two of trading started slow, started just learning. Well, trying to learn, really, still wasn't really recognizing anything. And then eventually understanding the OTC panic and making $180,000. Not just from that, my Trade Zero account, I actually grew that from 1,400 to 67,000, which was absolutely insane. I remember sort of just checking in on that from time to time, not really recognizing how much the P&L is going up or where I started from. And then just being like, I've made $66,000 in this account. It's absolutely insane. In that account, I was still mostly, I don't know, I don't really know how to short, so I don't really know how I made all that money. I guess I was kind of shorting into resistance and shorting OTC parabolics. So between my Trade Zero account and my E-Trade account, I made $180,000, or actually $220,000, but I think there was like 40,000 in fees. So towards the end of year two, I had a nice juicy tax bill to pay, which was a bit of a shock to me because I wasn't used to paying that amount of tax. And coming into my third year, I went traveling again, sort of had a slight break from the stock market and then got back to it. However, during this time, my inexperience in the stock market, not only in terms of understanding how the stock market worked, but also understanding how to manage my emotions, all this kind of caught up with me, and I went for a big drawdown of, I think, $65,000. Really scary time for me. I remember there was a point when I sat down, I was looking at the screens. The pattern that I was playing before, the OTC panics, no longer existed. OTC market was dead. And so I migrated over to listed stocks. And this was a completely different world to me. And I remember just one day, I was just losing day after day after day, still playing quite big size, considering that this was a new environment for me. I hadn't learned how to adapt that side of things either. And I remember sitting down, looking at the screen one day and thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And that was just like, whoa, what's going on here? And then there was a period where I lost, I think, $25,000 in 3 days. And it was like 5K the first day, then 10K the next day. And I was just completely on tilt, and then 10K the day after. And I remember at that point, my Trade Zero account, I more or less blew it up from $67,000 down to $500. I actually just withdrew the last $500. I thought I'd take that out because I was just going to give it away otherwise. So I just thought I'd take that out. And my E-Trade account, which hadn't really gone down very much, but I knew that I couldn't trust my emotions, so I withdrew the majority of what was left in my E-Trade account. I just left $7,400 in there. The reason I left $7,400 in there was that I still wanted to trade. I still wanted to learn how to trade. But yeah, at this point, I was just fully aware that if I don't take that money out of my account, it's all going to go. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not in control of my emotions, and I really am in a sort of really sketchy place right now. So during this time, I was still with Tim Sykes. I had sort of checked out Trade Like Mike for a little while, but he's more short biased. I do think that what he offers is amazing value for money, but his style of trading, perhaps I didn't give it long enough, but didn't really sort of align with how I wanted to trade. I kind of wanted to learn to go long rather than go short. But I was still with Tim Sykes during these 3 years. But at this point, I kind of felt as though I wasn't finding the information that I wanted and I needed to look elsewhere. So I began to broaden my horizons and look for other teachers that I might be able to learn from. So year 4 was a year of stabilization, and it was very, very much welcome after this downturn. Pretty much straight away after I withdrew that cash from my account, it was going down a little bit, my account, but not a lot. There was a lot more, sort of, it plateaued because I was now under PDT, so I couldn't overtrade, which was probably the biggest thing. And I've said it before, if there's anybody out there who is in that revenge trading tilt downward spiral, I know what that's like. I've been there. I was there for quite some time. The best thing that helped me was withdrawing capital and getting myself under PDT and taking the opportunity to trade out of my hands. That is the number one thing I would suggest. But yeah, year 4 for me was about stabilization and looking for a new teacher. So the first place that I decided to go was I went to Clover Trading. Now, Clover Trading, I was familiar with these guys because when I was with Sykes, these were some of his students. And to be honest, I sort of learned possibly a little bit more from them than I did from Sykes. So I decided to leave Sykes and join these guys. And I think that what they're doing is amazing. I think that they are amazing traders, but it still didn't really fit with my style of trading. I wanted to learn to go long, and these guys were predominantly short biased. Dom does teach going long, but I'd say that chat room is more geared towards those who want to learn to short sell. So at some point during my 4th year, I discovered Roland Wolf. I say discovered, I knew who he was and I knew that he specialized in logging listed stocks. It just took me so long to join him. I'm not quite sure why, because I've always really respected him as a trader. I just, for some reason, it didn't pull me. So, but at year 4, at some point, I joined Roland Wolf. So as it stands, I've been with Roland Wolf for I think around 10 months now. And I've got to say that joining Roland has been one of the best decisions I've made on my trading journey. I finally feel as though I am beginning to understand how the markets work. And the answers to the questions that I've been looking for so long are there. And as a result of that, over the past 10 months, I've managed to double my account. So it was 7,400. And then I got it up to like 15,000, I think even 16,000, but I've withdrawn a little bit now. And it currently stands, when I say withdrew, I've took some cash out, and it currently stands at 14,500. I'm trying to limit how often I withdraw cash from that account because I would like to grow it and start playing some bigger size. But every now and then something comes up in life and I do need to get access to that. But yeah, since joining Roland, I do feel like my understanding of the markets has increased massively. And I feel really positive in terms of where this can go for me. So I don't think that it should take somebody as long as it's taken me to sort of see some stability and some success. I know I had a lot of success in my second year, but that was a lot of success kind of too quickly. And then it's taken me sort of 2-3 years since that time to sort of get to some sort of good understanding of the market. So I don't think it should take somebody as long as it's taken me. In an ideal world, I think somebody, if they can apply themselves fully and fully engross themselves in the market, I feel like you could get there in 2 or 3 years. So what's next for me in trading is more of the same, really. Like I say, I feel as though I am in the right place for my learning education, and that is being expressed in the results I'm having. So more of the same. Not only do I want to continue learning about the markets, but I'm also learning a lot about trading psychology and managing my own emotions. And this is perhaps something that was slightly overlooked from previous teachers, whereas now I'm fully engrossed in that and finding it really beneficial. But at this moment in time, yeah, it's more of the same from me, looking at the markets, understanding more of the markets, understanding more of how I relate to the markets, and hopefully building that account. Thank you so much for watching. That's my 5-year journey trading stocks. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.